Warning: Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
In this crooked game of power politics here in America, the Negro, namely the race problem, integration, civil rights issue, are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power. Among whites here in America, the political teams are no longer divided into Democrats and Republicans. The whites who are now struggling for control of the American political throne are divided into liberal and conservative camps. The white liberals from both parties cross party lines to work together toward the same goal, and white conservatives from both parties do likewise. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical, than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives.
What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click that link in the description. Go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. And with that being said, family, happy Friday. Much love to each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. We got some things to talk about today. First and foremost, let me give a shout out, a B1 salute to our brother Black Truth United. Much love to you. Thank you for your Cashapp donation, family. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. All right, family, there's some things we got to talk about. As y'all see in the title, we're going to talk about the situation with Trump ordering a new census without the illegals, which I feel is a fair thing to do. I think it's a beneficial thing to do if we're counted correctly. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to talk about that in a hot second. Before we get there, though, family, I just got to talk about the double down Dems. That's what I'm calling them from now on. These are the double down Dems. I've been in a few spaces, and I've been asking several people within the new black media and just in the black grassroots have been asked this question several times over ever since we toppled the Democratic Party when it came to the election last year. And we've been asked a very similar question, maybe in different ways, but the question tends to be, do you think that in 2026, Democrats will get the message and bring us something tangible in order to gain our votes? And many of us have the same answer. The answer is no. And the reason why is because these folks need to see that we're about that life, that this was not just a one-off, that this is the new normal. Because what ends up happening is, instead of them really taking a full audit of their campaigns, how the DNC runs, how they participate within the benign neglect, instead of taking the full account of the Democratic situation, they tend to turn around and double down on whatever they're betting on. And in this situation, it tends to be illegals. And unfortunately, if 2026 come along and they offer us something and we go running over there say, oh, okay, well, they offered us something and it's nothing of substance, nothing of tangible resources, then all we're doing is putting them back in the office so that they can continue the agenda from the last administration. And that's just the facts. And so all this ties in together with the situation that's happening in Texas. Let me bring this up here with the Dems fleeing. Notice the term that they use there, flee. Brother Black Alpha, he coined them the Tethercrats. And it will only be Apple Poll for them to use the term flee. But we're going to talk about the Texas Democrats who fled the state in order to, I guess, stop a quarrel, basically, and stop a vote on this redistricting situation in Texas. But all of this stuff ties in together. The situation with Trump calling for a new census. So we're going to get into this and we're going to talk about it, family. But before we do, let me give a shout out to everybody who's in the room. Much love, B1 salute and shalom to our sister Hurricane Nisi in the building, Andrea Jones, I am 7 ABCD. What? Okay. Reparations Nation. Our sister Stolen Ancestors is in the building. Much love to you. Our sister Kiera Clark is in the building. Much love to you. Our sister Mia Kim is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Hey, finally made it on time. Well, even if you're not here on time, you here on time. Always remember that, family. Our sister Anita Harrell is in the building. Much love to you, my sister. Starte Jones is in the building. Much love and shalom to you, my sister. Taste and Teas with Tony is in the building. Much love and shalom to you as well. AB is in the building. Much love to you, family. Shalom to you as well. Make sure our sister Donna C is in the building. Shalom and much love to you. Thank you for being here, family. Our sister Patricia A. Jones is in the building. Much love and shalom to you. Quasi Black Star is in the building. Shalom and much love to you. Thank you for being here, family, as well as our brother Wild Williams is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. One Switchblade, number one Switchblade in the house. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Our brother John's son is also in the building. Thank you for being here. LaShawn Kent is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. And everybody who's not in the chat, thank you for being here. And everybody who's going to catch this on the replay, much love to you and thank you for being here as well. Now, family, let's go to this article real quick. Let me remove this and head on over to this article because we got to talk about a few things. And when I say that these folks are going to double down, and all they have to do is really, because here's the thing, they don't have any plans. They have no plans on how they're going to get back in for 2028. So they're trying to make sure. And when I say make sure, they're trying to make sure that these people keep their voting base in their eyes. Their seat is dependent upon a bunch of people who's not supposed to be here. Their seats are dependent upon a bunch of people who are being deported. So you have to understand the Democratic's tactics when it comes down to these illegals. And we spoke about this several times over, how these states fight to keep these illegals because it helps them with their redistricting as well as their seats, right? The number of seats that a state has is due to the demographic of people in their state, right? And so with the Democrats, we're seeing a lot of grandstanding because they want to keep these illegals around. We've never seen them do anything of the sort when it comes to foundational Black Americans, especially for an anti-Black hate crime bill, especially for reparations, especially for anything tangible when it comes down to foundational Black Americans. We haven't seen any of them do nothing like this. None of them has fled their states in order to make sure that the legislation didn't have quorum when it was anything that targeted foundational Black Americans. And this is why we got to talk about this. Let's get into it, family. We're not going to read this whole thing because it's a very lengthy article, but we're going to read down to where the information that I want to get to is. So, Texas Democrat lawmakers fled the state Sunday, in a bid to block passage of a new congressional map designed to give GOP 5 additional seats in the U.S. House next year, raising the stakes in what polls to be a national fight over redistricting ahead of next year's midterm elections. The maneuver, undertaken by most of the Texas House 62 Democrats, deprived the Republican-controlled chambers of a quorum. The number of lawmakers needed to function under House rules ahead of a scheduled Monday vote on the draft map. The 150 member house, 150 member house can only conduct business if at least 100 members are present, meaning the absence of 51 or more Democrats can bring the legislature ongoing special session to a halt. This is not a decision we make lightly, but it is one we make absolute moral clarity. Really? Okay. In absolute moral clarity. State Rep, Jen Wu, chair of the House Democrat caucus, said in a statement in which he accused Governor Greg Abbott of using an intentionally racist map to steal the voices of millions of Black and Latino Texans. Family, notice when it's all about them and making sure they don't lose something, now they want to throw in Black. But of course they throw in brown too. But the brown is the ones they really trying to represent and keeping these areas, keeping these states and things like that. But they just had to throw Black in there because they know we're not riding with them right now because they do nothing for Blacks. All to execute a corrupt political deal. Most House Democrats left Texas Sunday after en route to, Most House Democrats left Texas Sunday afternoon en route of Chicago area. Some also headed to New York to meet with Governor Kathy Hochul, who has condemned Texas mid-decade redistricting efforts and entertained the idea of redistricting with new maps in her state. So it's cool when they do it, and it's a problem when the Republicans do it. Family, we all know both sides partake in these type of tactics. The Democrats do it when they're in office, and the Republicans do it while they're in office. They both participate in gerrymandering, which this is. This is absolutely gerrymandering. But the way the Democrats gerrymander the Black community out of their district while gerrymandering Latinos and illegals into their districts in order to not be behoovant to the Black vote in their district. They don't want to be held accountable in their districts. This is the same thing when you look at people in like Jamal Bryant in California, where his district is full of what? Illegals and Latinos. So he don't have no fear of being held accountable by foundational Black Americans. When the Republicans gerrymander, they're gerrymandering everybody out of a district to pull in more white folk, more Nabiscos. So both parties participate in this tactic of gerrymandering when it behooves them in their party. A third contingent of the lawmakers departed for Boston to attend the National Conference of State Legislators annual legislative summit, alongside some Senate Democrats, according to a source familiar with the senator's plan. It was not immediately clear how many Senate Democrats had left the state, and the caucus did not indicate any plans to deny quorum in the upper chambers. There are just over 2 weeks left in the Texas legislature special session, during which Abbott has also asked lawmakers to take up measures responding to the deadly July 4th Hill Country flood. Stiffer regulations for consumable hemp and contingencies, contingents, GOP properties such as cracking down and abortion pills, and other bathroom transgender people can use. The prospects for those items, along with the new redistricting maps, were immediately thrown in doubt by the Democrats' departure. Family, I'm going to be honest with you. I think the smartest thing that Abbott probably did, because he knew that there is going to be issues with a lot of these things, like the regulation for consumable hemp, cracking down on abortion pills and things like that, transgender bathroom. I think that he made sure to throw in that July 4th flooding situation in order to try to compel Democrats to move on doing something for the constituents, right? So they might not agree to the map. They might not agree to the situation of cracking down on abortion pills and all this other stuff, the transgender bathrooms. But if they're empathetic enough, then they would still want to move on it due to all the people who are victims of the July 4th floods. Salute to Zavon Scott. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. Let's go here, family.
Approved arrest warrants for dozens of Democratic state. All right, there's also this. The Texas House of Representatives has approved arrest warrants for dozens of Democratic state legislators who fled to Illinois to try and stall congressional redistricting efforts. The Republican governor of Texas now is threatening to have them all replaced. Correspondent Garrett Tenney's in Chicago tonight with the details. Hi, Garrett.
Jillian, good evening. Tonight, Texas state troopers are tracking down those Democratic lawmakers to arrest any who are within state lines and force them to return to the Capitol. Most of those House Democrats, though, have already fled well beyond Texas to set up their Alamo in this redistricting fight in other states.
Members, a quorum is not present.
Dozens of Texas House Democrats now on the hot seat after refusing to show up for today's special legislative session and blocking a vote on the GOP's newly proposed congressional maps.
We are here to kill this special session, and that's what we're going to do.
Fleeing for sanctuary in blue states like New York, Massachusetts, and Illinois, the Texas Democrats are protesting the mid-decade redistricting effort done at President Trump's urging that's designed to give the GOP as many as 5 new seats in the U.S. House.
We're only 3 seats short from taking back the House. That is a historically close number. That's why we're seeing this extraordinary action in Texas.
Democrats can only delay a vote on the new maps, and they're planning to stay out of town for at least the next 2 weeks until Texas's special legislative session is over.
We really didn't have a choice. We tried to negotiate with Republicans. We tried to talk to them. This was the only way we could protect our constituents and protect the state.
So, family, let's break down that little bit right there for a second. These folks aren't even stopping the vote. They can only delay the vote. They can only delay the vote. So all this is, and salute to our brother Ayo, thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. All they're doing here is grandstanding. They know they're going to have to place a vote at some point in some time. And notice the language that's being used here. They're fleeing persecution. They're taking safe haven in Democratic states. All this to grandstand.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott can call as many special sessions as he needs, though, to pass the bill. And he plans to use every tool available to force the lawmakers to return, including a $500 a day fine and potentially trying to remove them from office.
And I believe they have forfeited their seats in the state legislature because they're not doing the job they were elected to do.
This Texas-sized showdown is making waves nationally, with some top Democrats, including governors in blue states like Illinois, California, and New York, now looking at redrawing their own congressional maps to make up for any seats they may lose in Texas.
Republicans are willing to rewrite these rules to give themselves an advantage, then they're leaving us no choice. We must do the same.
This isn't the first time Texas Democrats have fled the state over legislation they didn't like. 4 years ago, they spent 5 weeks in Washington, D.C. trying to stop a bill enacting tighter voting restrictions, which ultimately passed after arrest warrants were issued and the lawmakers returned home.
4 years ago. So what was happening 4 years ago? Oh, yeah, back when Trump was in office the first time around. Interesting. Salute Jim's Eye View. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. So 4 years ago, they done this, and they still had to move forward with the vote, and they're doing it again. So when we say that these Democrats have no new plays in the playbook, family, they have no new plays in the playbook. This is just an ongoing, a recurring situation that these people continue to do. Salute T1 Productions. Thank you for being here, family. Shalom to you.
All right, Garrett Tenney in Chicago with that story for us tonight. Thank you.
All right, family. Let's go here because, you know, they really feel like they doing something. The Dems really feel like they doing something. Let me show you how they're treating this situation. Like I said, this is grandstanding if I've never seen one. Seeing grandstanding at its core. Salute McCabe Anderson. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you, my sister. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me pull this down, family. The god dang StreamYard is skipping again. Bouncing screen. Bouncing Betty. All right. All right. They said if they're going to cheat, we're not going to play. They made sure before they hopped on those planes, family, they made sure before they oh, hold up. Did you guys just hear? Oh, Jesus. Let me run that back. Like I said, I don't know what's going on with this new goddamn StreamYard, but it did not switch the clip. So let's switch the clip and replay that.
Freaking out because they are realizing the authority to redistrict.
More than 50 Texas Democrats headed to Chicago.
Democrats are freaking out because they are realizing Texas has the authority to redistrict.
More than 50 Texas Democrats headed to Chicago, New York, and Boston over the weekend, stalling a Republican push to redraw congressional districts in their favor. Why do you believe it is important for Texas to take this rare step of mid-decade redistricting?
Oh, because we have the opportunity. We have the time, we have the opportunity, and we have the advantage.
In New York, flanked by Texas Democrats, the governor said she'd push her state to consider redistricting.
This is a war. We are at war. And that's why the gloves are off.
Governor Greg Abbott writing that he's ordered state officials to, quote, arrest and return every derelict House Democrat, later asking Texas Rangers to investigate them. Texas Republicans issuing civil arrest warrants for the Democrats who left the state, all largely symbolic moves.
Subpoenas from Texas don't work in New York. So he's going to come get us how? Subpoenas in Texas don't work in Chicago. He's going to come get us how?
The decisions that come from
I'm telling you, family, the Dems are very cocky with that situation. They like, we done fled. How y'all gonna come get us? Come get us how? You still got to come back to Texas at some point, don't you? You do realize you can still be reprimanded once you come back to Texas, right? Like literally, they can make it possible to where the next time around when they call a special session, you know, the police is sitting around the airport so y'all can flee. Or they can make it so that you lose positions in different committees and things like that. You can be reprimanded when you get back. You still have to come back. Salute to our sister Key Prince in the building. Much love to you. Shalom, family.
This chamber could reverberate nationwide. Law enforcement now empowered to bring Democrats back to their empty seats. House rules allow Republicans to lock members inside until they get a chance to vote on this bill. In July, President Trump pushed his allies in Texas to redraw the map to pad the tight Republican margin in Congress.
It's a very simple redrawing. We pick up 5 seats.
It's almost like two football teams heading out of the locker room at halftime, and the team that's ahead says they want to change the rules for the second half so that they can win the game. I mean, that's cheating, plain and simple. And if they're going to cheat, we're not going to play.
Family, these folks have been playing the cheating game for a while now, especially under Joe Biden, pulling in all those illegals. That was a cheating game. And why was it a cheating game? Because all those illegals was counted, which gave all those new seats to the Democrats. You got to understand how this is working. So it's like I said, it's right now, it's the pot calling the kettle black. On both sides. Both sides are calling, like, both sides are pot, but they each are looking at the pot across from them and calling the kettle black. Let's go here because I want to show you guys exactly. Salute to Two Steak Johnson. Thank you for being here, family. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Democrats. Yeah, hey, that's it right there. I want to go here because these people made sure to grandstand before they got on those planes, and I want to show you what they were saying.
This is State Representative James Tallarico from Texas. If you're seeing this video, my Democratic colleagues and I have just left our beloved state to break quorum and stop Trump's redistricting power grab. This is State Representative.
Ramon Romero, your state representative. Y'all know what's going on right now. This is the fight that we're in. This is the fight that you're in. We didn't start this fight. Donald Trump started it. He asked the Texas legislature to get rid of your voice. So for me, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go to work to silence you. And there's going to be a lot of people that's what they're going to say. They ran away. They don't want to go do their job. If my job is taking away your right to have a vote that matters, I'm not going to do it. There's going to be other people that are going to go to the floor. It's not going to be me, and it's not going to be my colleagues, because we know what this means. This is the destruction of America and the destruction of value of our vote. So you see me? Look at here. Bye. I'm out, but I'm here for you.
Family, what sense does that make? He said, bye, I'm out, but I'm here for you. You can't be here for somebody while not being here. That makes no sense. Your constituents is watching you board a plane and leave. Your constituents are watching you board a plane and leave, and you're saying, toodles, I'm out of here, but I'm here for you. That's a complete contradiction in itself. Salute to Michael Davis. Thank you for being here, as well as shalom, and salute to our family, Jesse Paris. Thank you for being here. Salute to our sister, Patricia A. Jones. Let's be real. The Democrats did not expect this ish. Against them. They really thought for sure FBAs was going to vote Harris as presidents. Absolutely. They thought that we were going to be bullied or pressured, and they found out completely different. They saw a complete different outcome than what they predicted. So for the people that's in the Democratic Party that are political scientists, they're not too good at their job, because the job of political scientists is to be able to predict a reasonable outcome within these type of situations. And yeah, you should have been able to predict that we wasn't going to vote for Kamala. You should have been able to predict that we were voting the couch. You should have been able to predict that you were going to lose the House. You should have been able to predict that you were going to lose the Senate. You should have been able to predict that if you didn't do something for your goddamn constituents, there would be a problem. And here we are today. Let's go here, family.
Texas House Democrats will not be returning to their home state, despite Governor Abbott's warning that they could face removal from office if they are not back by 4 o'clock Eastern time today. Instead, they just announced a press conference at 7 p.m. And where are they? In Warrenville, Illinois, is where those Texas representatives will be speaking from, just about an hour outside of Chicago. This evening around 7 o'clock. They've been in Illinois. They've been in other states. They're protesting this GOP effort to redraw the congressional map. We know that both sides, Republicans and Democrats, are pretty good at getting very creative in carving out these lines. The Texas governor feels this is a legitimate move. The president supports it as well. We'll see where this whole thing goes. We'll be watching. The Texas House Democrats will not.
So these people would rather stay gone. Cool. But here's the thing though. And I don't think that they're going to lose their seats at all. It's a whole process for that to happen. And even if they lose their seats, I believe that Greg Abbott believes that he can appoint people to those positions. And the fact of the matter is you cannot appoint people into elected positions. It doesn't work like that. Now, if it does in the situation, if they are removed, if anything, I would think that it would go to a special elections rather than him being able to appoint anybody. I just don't think that that's going to happen. Much love to our brother Cyberdyne 100 in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Also, thank you for your Cashapp donation, family. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. Yeah, so I don't think that that's going to be an issue at all, but I do believe that when they come back, they'll be either censured, they'll be reprimanded in some sort of way. It's not like they'll be sent to jail or anything because, there's laws to prevent certain things like that from happening. But there are things that they can do to kind of discipline these representatives for taking off like that. Let's go here, family.
This is the biggest thing happening in American politics right now. Donald Trump.
The biggest thing happening in American politics right now, huh? Not the fact that Foundational Black American toppled the whole goddamn party on our own, by ourselves, told you what was going to happen, and it did. Told you how the outcome was going to be, and it became. Told you who wasn't going to get into the White House, and she didn't. That's not the biggest thing within political and within politics at this time. Oh, no, it's all about the gerrymandering that you guys do any chance you guys get. And don't let these people tell you that this what do they call mid-decade redistricting, as if they only do it every 10 years or so. That's not the case at all. These people redistrict and gerrymander whenever they get the chance, whenever they get the opportunity. And that's why I played that clip of the Republican when they asked, why redistrict now? And he said, because we have the opportunity and we have the leverage. That's what happens on both sides of the field, ladies and gentlemen. My brothers and sisters, both parties do it whenever they have the position to and whenever they feel they have the power to. That's how they get down. So don't let them point fingers. Like I said, both of them are pots and they're both calling the kettle black. Salute, Black are you. Thank you for being here. Shalom to you, family. Much love.
Trump does not have a plan for winning the midterm elections. He has a plan for trying to rig those elections.
And the Democrats don't have a plan to win the midterm elections. Their plan consists of making sure their base is not deported. That is the Democratic strategy to get back into office. To call Trump a PDF file, to keep bringing up Epstein, as if they cared, because if they cared, they'd have been bringing up Epstein during the time of Joe Biden. Never did it. All of a sudden, everybody is so gung-ho on, oh, why aren't anybody trying to get the Epstein files out? This is their strategy. They don't have a strategy. And by Trump pushing for these redistricting, it's taking away from the only strategy that they have left. Because they damn sure ain't going to get us out there to put them back in the office. They know that they're not going to get us out there to put them back in the office. They won't see the House or the Senate for as long as we can help it, because these people are doubling down on their nonsense. That's why I said they're the double down Dems.
And rig those rules far before they ever happen. Because it is deeply unpopular for him to have cut healthcare for over 15 million people, all to help his billionaire buddies with tax breaks. He knows he can't win the election fair and square.
Who was the people cut from those healthcare programs, sir? Illegals. Illegals was cut off of a healthcare system that they're not even supposed to be on. Programs, and here's another thing, family, and I spoke about this before. These states take federal funds, put them into these programs, and then give those programs to illegals in a way where they're not really considered giving away federal funds. Right? So what they'll do is they'll take some of those federal funds and set up a program that's a state program, even though it comes from federal money. And then they will induct these people into these state programs. And when people do the research on where the funding's coming from, they'll see some federal funding, but they will go and say, yeah, we used some of that federal funding, but we didn't use the federal funding for these illegals. We also have private funding in order to take care of these situations. So the federal funding is going towards citizens while private funding is going towards illegals. That's the kind of nonsense that they bring to the table without giving you any type of disaggregated data to show that that's going on. Without providing any type of audit to show that's what's going on. Shalom to our brother Damon Reeves. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. So we got to make sure that people are paying attention to things like this. Like I said, these sanctuary states, these sanctuary cities, they're breaking the law. Because the same people, and I was talking to one of my homegirls the other day, and she had fallen on, she's in California, she fell on some hard times, and she needed to get some rental assistance. And she said she called the 211 number or whatever, and they give her a list of different programs. When she told me that everybody that she called told her that they were out of funding due to the illegal migrant crisis, I'm telling you, they know what they're doing.
And so he's trying to start redistricting completely out of cycle in Texas to disenfranchise millions of voters of color in violation of the Voting Rights Act, all to make sure he cannot be held accountable in the upcoming elections. And if he does this in Texas, he could spread it like wildfire all over the country. We've got to fight back.
Well, like Minority Leader Jeffries, California Governor Gavin Newsom said he'll consider doing the very same thing in California if Texas goes ahead with its, to your point, mid-decade redistricting plans. Is tit for tat a good...
Gavin. Hey, Gavin. You must have forgot that this last election, California was damn near a red state. How you going to redistrict that? Gavin. Hey, Gavin. How are you going to redistrict that? You got to change some policies in order to get some of that back. This is another reason why, we're going to speak about it a little bit later too. But, Kamala Harris, she decided not to run. Do you think she decided not to run in California because she just came to a realization? No. Kamala decided not to run because California damn near turned red in the last election. And overwhelmingly voted for Trump. That's just what it is. She knows she's cooked in California. We're the ones that cooked her the first time. And I'm proud to say that I was in the state when that happened. We cooked her the first time. So you think you're going to go from being the president to running back to California to now be the governor? No. And the only way that would be possible if they keep the illegals so that they can vote her in. Because contrary to popular belief, when they say that, oh, illegals can't vote, there are several instances within California personally that they were voting.
Strategy for Democrats?
Gavin Newsom is doing the right thing, and we need more governors to take his lead. Because look, I and all the Democrats currently in the House and in the Senate are for independent redistricting without gerrymandering. The question is, how do we get there? We do not get there by blue states having commissions and then rewarding red states for not having them. There has to be a cost to states like Greg Abbott here in Texas thinking he can take advantage of our broken system. And so in my view, California should have said, we will have an independent commission when Texas has one. That New York should say, we'll get an independent commission when Florida finally implements one. That's how we get rid of this gerrymandering and this voter suppression that Donald Trump is pushing.
All right, family. See, do these people sound like they want to win an election in 2026? Does it sound like they want to take back the House in 2026? Or do it sound like they scared that if they lose any of their constituents, that won't happen? Like I said, they both do this gerrymandering thing. So, and the way that he voiced that right now, oh, this is a great idea from Governor Newsom because we need this as Democrats. Everybody needs to be on this tip. Pause. Well, I thought you were condoning it. I thought you wasn't condoning what Greg Abbott was doing. Like I said, pot meets kettle on both sides. And California, I can tell you for a long time, has been doing their gerrymandering thing, their redistricting thing for a long time. Oh, yeah. Nabisco's gone wild. This is exactly what it is. A straight cluster. You absolutely right, brother. You absolutely right. Like I said, these folks don't sound like they want to get back in the office, especially when you have people at the forefront like Jasmine Crackhead Crockett.
He has nothing of substance to contribute when it comes to critiquing me. There's a lot that I talk about. For instance, we've just had an entire conversation about gerrymandering and redistricting and why it's bad. And instead of him being able to elaborate on the fact that I'm unable to make a cogent argument or something like that, and then back into his argument that I'm low IQ.
Okay, family, I'm gonna start that over. Because we gotta talk about something, family. Y'all notice the hair? They actually had somebody come out and cook this hair up for her. No wig this time, huh? That part ain't straight at all. But she never had a straight part in her hair. She always wearing a crooked part for some reason, even with a wig. But yeah, at least it's her real hair. Eyelashes.
Substance to contribute.
Eyelashes still heavy, but not so heavy. It ain't weighing down that eye so much like he usually does. What you say? Hey, yo, they put tracks in her hair. Okay, makes sense. Salute to Still Kevin Trees. Yeah, we got to touch on Jasmine Crockett for a second. It's a wig too. Look. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it to the sisters to tell me because y'all can spot a wig even when it don't look like one. Men, if it don't have the seam showing, we're gonna have kind of a hard time a lot of the time. Just to be fair, just to be honest. Shalom and salute to GH. Thank you for being here, and our sister Aquarius Minded in the building. Much love to you, my sister. Thank you for being here, as well as Uncensored Truth in the building. Thank you for being here, family. So if you say that that's a wig too, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna agree with you. Is that her real hair though? We got some saying it's a wig. We got others saying that it's tracks in her hair. But one thing's for certain, two things for sure. What we do know is that she's speaking a bunch of nonsense. She's here to do a bunch of suspected tether babbling.
When it comes to critiquing me, there's a lot that I talk about. For instance, we just had an entire conversation about gerrymandering and redistricting and why it's bad. And instead of him being able to elaborate on the fact that I'm unable to make a cogent argument or something like that, and then back into his argument that I'm low IQ, he just knows how to throw that insult. But it's a common insult when it comes to people of color. He just threw the same exact insults as Charlemagne the God. And so I
noticed they're once again, they're going back to that old playbook because the Republicans are doing something that they don't like. It is the direct targeting of people of color. He just said the same thing about Charlemagne the fraud. Charlemagne the fraud is a fraud. Charlemagne the fraud is a clown. He is the person that you guys send out.
Send in the clowns.
And then Charlemagne come tap dancing out the back. She's trying to get us involved in something that really, that's y'all business. If you wanted us involved, you should have literally did something for us the last time around, and then we would have had Joe back. If you would have passed reparations, we would have had Joe back. If you would have passed an anti-black hate crime bill, we would have had Joe back. If you would have passed anything tangible for the black community within the first 2 years that you had the House and the Senate and the presidency. But you guys deliberately decided to show us the backside of your ass. And so we are deliberately saying to you, you can kiss ours. Don't try to pull us into your nonsense.
want people to see him and understand who he is. This is a person that has a problem with people of color, period. I don't care how many black MAGA out there with their hats. I want to be clear, when we look at who it is that he's kicking out of this country, it's people of color. When we look...
Family, do y'all remember when Joe Biden was on the Senate floor talking about he didn't want his kids going to school with a bunch of monkeys and things like that? Do you remember while he was in office when the Haitians came in illegally and he sent out the border patrol on the horses and they was cracking whips and all that other nonsense? Everybody was quiet then. What did it matter? Joe apologized, y'all was saying. He was going around bragging about his name being on every major crime bill, and y'all didn't say not one word. Exactly, Donna C. They have very selective memories. Very selective memories. And I've said this several times before. I would have no problem with you calling this out if you was calling this out during the time that Biden was in office. If you were actually speaking up against the whole administration of Biden when you saw that they were doing nothing for us. Don't now try to make this a thing about being anti-black, anti-colored people, anti-this, anti-that, when we just survived 4 years of anti-blackness. And more specifically, anti-black American. Exactly, Patricia. Much love to you. FBAs is returning the favor. That's all it is. We're returning the same energy that the party gave to us. Salute, Ach, thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. Shalom.
at who he always disrespects and says that they are low IQ, even though when you look at his cabinet, this has to be the most incompetent cabinet we have ever had in the history of this country. When we're talking about people that literally have the ability to drop bombs or order that bombs be dropped or make recommendations that bombs be dropped, and they literally don't know how to get the signal chat right. So we're talking about.
So now you're talking about the signal chat and the whole conversation that happened. So that happened, I don't know how many months ago. You're reaching for straws right now. You're grasping for straws. And no, I agree that, there's a bunch of low IQ people in Trump's cabinet. I wouldn't disagree to that. But you would also have to say there's a bunch of low IQ people within the Democratic Party. If one is correct, then it's also correct for the other.
Low IQ individuals, but so long as they say that this guy is their guy, and usually if they work for a certain news network, that's the only qualification that's necessary.
Don't that sound like the last election? As long as, remember when Joe Biden was sitting there falling asleep at that goddamn debate? Everybody, including Crockett, came out and was like, oh, he was just tired. There's nothing wrong with him. For a whole, year and a half, they was running around here acting as if he wasn't, his cognitive, his brain function wasn't on the decline. You guys was running around here even saying things like, I would take a dead man over Donald Trump. Exactly, my sister, making excuses for him. People were saying they would literally take a weekend at Bernie situation before they would take a Donald Trump getting put back in office. And you had every left-wing news syndicate repeating the same talking points, agreeing that he's okay, he's at his best functions. You had people like Kamala Harris and everybody else in the cabinet coming out talking like, oh, Joe Biden, he's sharper than me. Some days I can hardly keep up with him. This is what you guys were doing. This is what you guys were doing. So once again, it's pot, meat, kettle. And this is why we're not rocking with either damn side. Because when you're in office, you're doing the same thing they're doing, and they're calling it out and pointing fingers. And now that they're in office, you're calling them out for the same things that you were doing while you were in office and pointing fingers. And now that she's facing this way, I think I do see a scene for this wig. This is definitely, in my opinion, a wig. They just cut the little hairnet a little bit further back into her forehead area.
I've got news for the president. I am not going anywhere. No matter how many squiggly lines they draw in the state of Texas, I will be back, and I will be on his behind and making sure the real accountability that the American people are demanding, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, or independents, that it has had when the Democrats take control of this house in the midterms.
Wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. And let me also say, don't sit here and talk about how you're going to be sitting there holding people accountable, whether they're Democrat, Republican, or whatever, when you literally said nothing while the Democrats were in office. That's why you have no credibility. You're the sister girl puppet that no sister girl who's actually a sister girl believe. Shalom and salute to Quasi Blackstar. Thank you for your super sticker, family. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always. Yeah, Donna, see again. That Obama wig. And if you guys notice, she's speaking a little bit more cordial nowadays, aren't she? Isn't she? She's speaking with a little bit more sense nowadays, isn't she? It's a lot of less, less neck snapping. They removed the long fingernails. They cut down the eyelash length a little bit. And they gave her a Michelle Obama wig. Family, do you think that they're going to get back in the office? Because I don't think they stand a chance in hell, especially without us. Especially without us. Yeah, salute Uncensored Truth. He said they told her to tone down the ratchetness. Yeah, because they saw it wasn't working. This whole thing with Jasmine Crockpot was an experiment. It was an experiment because if you really look at it, they looked at the situation with Donald Trump. And the one thing about Donald Trump, whether you like him or not, most people will say he's genuine. He's genuinely him, right? Whether you like him, whether you hate him, Donald Trump is Donald Trump. And people know Donald Trump is Donald Trump. And so I believe that the Democrats wanted to see if they can manufacture some sort of Donald Trump that would tie the Democrats back to the foundational Black American community. And I truly believe they picked Jasmine Crockpot because she has no ties. They don't know who she is. Nobody really knows who she is. Don't know about her family. Don't know about her background. All we know is that she grew up very privileged. She grew up very privileged and went to private school her whole damn life. Also, we know that she didn't know that racism existed, according to her. Which is us asking that question. Is she a tether or is she a coon? That comment she made makes me lean more on the side of a tether. Because even coons know that white supremacy exists. Exactly. She's a privileged church girl. Salute to Starte Jones. It'll take about 3 lost elections before they can get the real message that FBAs ain't rocking with them. Exactly. Exactly. Midterm, the next presidential, the next midterm. Right now, they already lost 1 presidential. Let them lose the midterm and the next presidential. And I guarantee you, they're going to be coming to us trying to do business. They're going to hate to. Oh, but they're definitely going to try to. But family, there, of course, was some eye buckers that, the Democrats sent out to make people believe that these folks are doing a good deed. My bad, family. Let me pull this down for a second. Salute JJ Mars. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. Let's go here.
Did y'all see what the Texas Democrats said about not coming back to Texas no time soon? Yeah, James Tallarico. I think that's how you say it. Look at this.
We are all staying out of the state capitol until the end of this special legislative session in 2 weeks to kill this corrupt map and protect our constituents' voices in the democratic process. Texans don't spare easily. We don't surrender easily. But I am concerned that there are elected officials in our country who are willing to arrest and remove other elected officials. That should be concerning to all of us.
They say it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Fuck them. We're not coming back to Texas. They said they staying out of Texas until the end of this special legislative session. They not coming back until this motherfucker is done. Y'all not about to vote on shit. They gonna protect their constituents like they supposed to. They doing their motherfucking job. Y'all.
I don't understand how people don't understand this. When they get back to the state, all Greg Abbott has to do is call another session and then lock them in and force them to do a vote. I don't get how these people are even sent out. But like I said, these folks are paid by the Democratic Party and their super PACs in order to produce and speak any propaganda that they require.
Have shit to say when the Republicans did this shit when it was time to vote for the Epstein files. It was cool then. It was cool.
Notice how she bring up the Epstein files as if that even matters. If it matters, where were you guys to call out the Democrats when it was in their possession? All of a sudden, the Epstein files are super important. And they keep bringing up the Epstein files because they want to piss off MAGA. Which is okay. Cool. Do that. But I'm going to call it how I see it. Y'all don't give a damn about those children. Or else y'all would have been speaking up about all those children that was being trafficked under Joe Biden when he opened the borders. Y'all would have been speaking up about all the children that was disappearing, that ended up going missing. What was it? About 30,000? See, these folks, they participate in selective politics. You're not here to do a service for your political party. You're supposed to do a service for your damn group. But these people have no problem being tools of political parties, while your group is being disenfranchised by that very same political party. And no, that's on both sides. I'm not just talking about the Democrats. I'm talking about the Republicans too.
To hold some shit up then, wasn't it? But now that the Democrats ain't playing nice no more, now that the Democrats is playing just as dirty as y'all, now it's a fucking problem. Yeah, Democrats. I'm proud of the Texas Democrats. Y'all stand y'all ground. Don't take.
Now that the Democrats is playing just as dirty as y'all mad. When did the Democrats stop playing dirty? They played dirty as soon as they cracked open that border. They played dirty as soon as they catered to everyone else but their constituent group. Shalom and salute to Priscilla Taylor. Thank you for being here, my sister. When Barack Obama was in office and he decided to do for everybody except the people who was responsible for giving him the House, the Senate, and the presidency, that wasn't playing dirty. I'm just asking because, if I'm looking at it from a non-biased perspective, both of you guys are dirty as hell. And both of you have been playing dirty since before the 60s. So when did y'all stop playing dirty is the question.
Y'all ass back to Texas until this shit is over and done with. I need all the Democrats to get on the same page as the Texas Democrats. And all the blue states, y'all get ready. If y'all got a gerrymander, just like they're trying to do out there in Texas, then y'all better be prepared to do that shit. Y'all need to be fighting for y'all constituents because America ain't shit without the people.
America ain't shit without what people? Without what people? Without the illegals? You definitely ain't talking about foundational Black Americans, because if you were, you would have been talking like this during the election. You got to do something for foundational Black Americans, because America ain't nothing without the people. I'm going to be honest with you, my brother. I don't believe that whatsoever. And here's the reason, because honestly, I get very tired of the narrative that a Black man in office can't do nothing for you, or he was told not to do anything. I don't think that's true. I know for a fact that he decided not to do anything. When he was asked deliberately, why not say, here, Black Americans, this is for you. It was his tetheristic ways. You could see it in his face. He was despised to even have to answer that question, my brother. He said, no, that's not how America works. America works when we're all working together. While Black Americans are being disenfranchised. Now, there is, like I said, he was a puppet of David Geffen, allegedly. But for the most part, in that situation, he did everything David Geffen wanted, which is passed all those LGBTQ situations. That's what Obama was put in the office to do, was to pass all those LGBTQ situations. To repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell. To sign in, gay marriage and all this other stuff. Also, to do the Dreamers Act. So, I don't give him any type of out when people say that, he couldn't do anything. They told him not to do anything. I don't give a damn what I'm told. If I'm put in the office by a group of people, guess what? I'm a do for that group of people, as you see Trump doing. Trump don't give a damn who says what to him. He's just doing things sporadically. When it comes to mine, if he wants to get it done, he gets it done. So if we give anybody that leeway, that out, then everybody after Obama can now have an excuse to not do anything for us. Oh, yeah. Any Black person that gets put in the office is told not to do nothing for us. It's called benign and neglect. That's the Democratic Party's whole policy when it comes to foundational Black Americans. But let's be honest. You wouldn't implement a policy if you didn't want to implement that policy. Obama didn't have an issue or a problem not implementing anything for Black Americans because it was his whole plan to just use us. And that's why every time something happened, whether it be Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, or anything, the Flint situation, Obama did nothing. Flint, Michigan is still without clean drinking water, full clean drinking water. And the cold part about that situation is that the Democratic Party even got to Little Miss Flint. Y'all remember the little girl who used to hold the signs that says Flint is still without running water 10 years later? They even got to her in the last election. Had got dang her standing with Joe Biden and everything else. And Flint in 2025 still have contaminated water. These people do this stuff on purpose. They do it because they want to, and they do it because they know for a fact, ain't nobody going to do nothing about it because it only affects foundational Black Americans. But I digress. Let's get over here to this person now.
The Democrats left Texas. Child never should have made it, is what Greg Abbott was thinking when he saw the Democrats doing press conferences from across the country. Now, if you don't know what's going on in Texas, let's go over the fact pattern. The Republicans wanted to pass new district maps, translation, gerrymandering, to add a couple more seats so they can keep running things down to the House of Representatives.
You know, I'm the HBIC in this mother.
But the Democrats said, how you gonna vote if you don't have enough people to vote?
Not today.
Class, they're calling that a quorum. Me personally, I thought that was a country in Mexico or something. I don't know. The point is, ain't nothing getting passed without the Democrats present. So the Republicans can't pass their new maps. So Greg Abbott gets out his little pen and paper and gets to scribbling and scrabbling to send out subpoenas.
That's a big word for our mouth.
But the Democrats said, good luck with those subpoenas you speak of, because the Democrats are far out of state. And where they are, the Texas lawyers are saying the subpoenas don't extend there.
Who gonna check me, boo? I have.
Anyway. So last I heard, the powers that be in Texas are asking for the FBI to get involved to make the Democrats come back to Texas. I'm ready to pronounce my sentence, and it is as follows. Mandatory law classes for Greg Abbott, because, baby, you need a refresher on how subpoenas work. You sending them out like wedding invitations. Next case.
All right, family. So after these type of videos started hitting the web, like I said, the smartest move that Greg Abbott probably did was include the flood situation into those whole special session situation. Because then he came out and he made it about Democrats not wanting to help their constituents. They're holding up. And I'll be honest with you. That's a good play. Because then you're putting the light on the Democrats to say, hey, the flood relief lies on them. They decided to leave. They're deciding not to partake in the special sessions. We could be sending out flood relief right now. And to be honest with you, it is smart. It's smart. Let's go here.
Dana, FYI, I am running ads in each of these districts of the missing Democrats, talking about how we need to be solving the flood-based challenges our fellow Texans are facing, but we can't do it right now because the candidate in whose district we're running the ad has left the state. And so their constituents are hearing about this as we speak right now. But as you point out, it's more than just dealing with flood victims. It's dealing with trying to cut property taxes. And there are so many issues that are so relevant to our fellow Texans. Our Texans care about those substantive issues, having their taxes cut more than the way the lines are drawn for Congress. Dana, FYI.
And so, family, of course, they had to come out and respond to that because, like I said, it's a smart move. Put your opponent in the hot seat. Why aren't you willing to come back and just do what you need to do for your constituents so that they can have some sort of relief? This flood was deadly. And it's your job as a representative to make sure your constituents are taken care of. Now, they had to come back and respond. Here's the response.
And as you know, that means that there's other legislation that's going to be the victim of that. And that includes this bill for flood assistance for those Texans who were impacted by those devastating floods on July 4th. Are you concerned that all of this could ultimately be a mistake if that legislation also becomes a victim of this?
This is a Republican talking point. I'm concerned that Greg Abbott decided to play politics with flood victims.
Family, he said this is a Republican talking point. Technically it is because it came from Greg Abbott, but it is not an irrelevant one. That's the difference. It is a Republican talking point. However, it is not an irrelevant one. Salute the Faith Speaks Life. Thank you for your Cash App donation, my sister. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. It is not an irrelevant point, though.
And their families. The only emergency that we should be coming to the state capitol to address is flood mitigation and disaster prevention. That's what Texans want us to focus on. It's why my Democratic colleagues and I showed up on the first day of the special legislative session 2 weeks ago. We begged our Republican colleagues to prioritize flood victims and their families, and they refused. But the reality is, the reality is the consequence of the decision, regardless of whether or not it's a talking point, is that this bill is not going to advance. Is that a bad thing if this bill doesn't advance? And who put flood mitigation after redistricting on the agenda? The Republicans. They control the floor. Exactly. They've made that decision. Exactly. But there will be consequences to your decision here too. Will there not? And you know why they did that is so that they could play politics with those flood victims, so they could pressure us to give away our constituents' voices in the democratic process. They're using flood victims to try to get us to agree to these corrupt maps so they can rig the next election. We are not willing to sacrifice the American experiment. We begged them to prioritize flood victims, and they refuse to do so. This is cynical politics at its worst.
And you're still going to have to come back and deal with those people that don't give a damn whether or not you feel it's just politics because, you know, they didn't lost their damn homes. They're waiting on some sort of relief funding. And as somebody who lives in Texas, I can tell you right now, people, it takes a while to get that relief funding, even when FEMA steps in. It takes a while to get relief funding in Texas. As somebody who's been through hurricanes out here. So, you know, yeah, I get what he's saying as well. I do understand that it was a political ploy. Absolutely. However, it was a damn good one because he put your ass in a hot seat to make your constituents have to now look at you and say, so you're holding up my funding? Oh, so you care more about the gerrymandering situation than making sure that your constituents are able to survive after this flood, this deadly flood at that. Hey, family, I'm looking from the outside and I'm looking in and I feel nothing for this situation. For the Democrats or Republicans, to be honest with you. Absolutely. Democrats always play good cop, bad cop. Absolutely, AL. Shout out to you for that. Absolutely. When it comes to these people fleeing and all this other nonsense, I feel nothing about it. Honestly, it's stupid to me. Like I said, it's grandstanding. Because you're still going to have to come back to Texas. You're still going to have to cast your vote. The vote still is going to be placed. You're just prolonging. My biggest issue with this is that you don't see this type of grandstanding for things that matter for foundational Black Americans. At all. You don't do it. You guys are so willing to make sure that you keep your illegal constituents, let's put it like that, rather than actually have a party that has backing. Salute to Marvin C. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. Family, the Democrats have nothing. They have no plan. They're running wild right now. And that's why it's understandable that Kamala Harris decides that she will not be running for governor in 2026. Because it's not really looking good in California for her. In the very same way, it's not looking good for the Democrats in Texas. It's just not. Former Vice President Kamala Harris, excuse me, family, salute to Drew Lasting, thank you for your Cash App donation, family. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution. As always, family. Former Vice President Kamala Harris announced Wednesday she will not run for California governor in 2026, ending months of speculation that she might. In a statement posted to her X account, Harris was defeated by President Donald Trump in 2024 presidential election, wrote, "In recent months, I have given serious thought to asking the people of California for the privilege to serve as their governor. I love this state, its people, and its promise. It is my home. But after deep reflection, I've decided that I will not run for governor in this election." Kamala. Excuse me. You don't love the people there. You targeted the people there. Well, the foundational Black Americans there. You got called out several times over. If you would have came to Black Americans or just Californians in general, we would have still told you no. People who didn't vote in the last election would have got off the couch to get up and voted against you. I guarantee that. It would have been a protest vote, but they damn sure would have voted against you no matter who was running against you. Let's be very clear about that. That's why you didn't make it to the presidency in your first time running. You had to drop out your first time around. All the people you locked up in California, Cherie Peoples, all the parents you locked up for truancy, but Cherie People, her being locked up while her child was literally sick in a hospital and you laughed about it? You make jokes about it? The people you try to keep on death row, even though there was ample evidence showing the person was innocent? The people you try to keep in jail for minor crimes because of the fact you wanted to keep them as cheap labor? Yeah, all those people would have looked you dead in your damn face and spit in it and told you no. If you would have went to the people of California to ask if you could serve, if you could have the privilege to serve as their governor. Hell, I might have moved back to California just to cast my vote against you. I may have packed up my bags, flew back to California just to cast a vote against you. So I'm definitely not surprised. She added, "For now, my leadership and public service will not be an elected office. And hopefully not ever again." Hopefully not ever again. Shalom and salute to our sister Cooking with Miss D. Thank you for being here. Also, shalom and salute to our brother Marvin C. He said she dropped out that fast, so fast, the other remaining candidates got whiplash. Yeah, whiplash hit them hard. Which way did she go? Where did she go? Shalom and salute to our sister FBA Queen. Thank you for being here. Obama gave us a song. I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do is all right with me. Somebody should have threw a water bottle at him. He also went over there to Flint and did that goddamn stunt where he pretended to drink the water. Somebody should have threw a goddamn water bottle at him then too. Oh yeah, we don't have a short memory on this side. We do not. And Kamala, what she was used to being called, Kamala, is now finding out once again that we don't have a short memory, especially for people such as herself. I look forward to getting back out and listening to the American people, helping elect Democrats across the nation. Who are you going to help get elected if you couldn't get elected your damn self? Who's going to want you on the campaign trail? See, with Obama, we could understand Obama being on a campaign trail. At least the man made it to become a president of the United States. Who the hell wants a failure like Kamala Harris, somebody who literally has failed not one time, not two times, but 3 damn times? Well, actually, this would be the 3rd time if she chooses to run for president in 2028. But who would still want a 2-time loser running around telling people why they should vote for them when you couldn't even vocally voice why people should vote for you? No. Why would people listen to you explain why they should go vote for someone in the Democratic Party when you was running for the highest office and you couldn't garner their vote for you? What credibility do you have? It's very interesting. Let's get back over here. Helping elect Democrats across the nation who will fight fearlessly, and sharing more details in the months ahead about my own plans. Oh, you ain't got no plans. That's why you literally, when you say I'm gonna be sharing in the next few months about my up and coming plans, that means you don't have any up and coming plans, or else you would already been speaking about it, using this time and taking this time to speak about it. So we know you ain't got no plans. Your plans is the same as they were when you jumped into the presidential run and took over from Biden. Not a damn thing. And that's why you didn't say a damn thing. You didn't say what you were going to do. It took you what? Up until a few months to start talking? Interesting. Salute to our sister FBA Queen. Much love to you. Thank you for your super chat. Your super chat is blessed tenfold. Your donation is highly appreciated, as well as your contribution. Our sister said, happy Friday to all my beautiful FBA brothers and sisters. Much love to you. Thank you very much, my sister. Thank you very much. Harris decision follows a long period of speculation about her next steps after November's loss against Trump. Speculation will now fall on whether she will seek another bid for the president for the White House in 2028. Oh, she better not, family. You may think 3rd time is the charm, but for somebody like Kamala Harris, the 3rd time will be in a embarrassment. A triple time embarrassment. You will be a situation of a one time, not a two time, but a 3-time loser. You will be a not one time, a not 2-time, but a 3-time loser. And some people may say, well, church, you know, it took Joe Biden 3 times in order to become a president. Yeah, that's true. That's true. However, we're not the African Americans that put him into office in the first place now, are we? And greatest words of our sister Nina. She says, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, a new life for FBA. And I'm feeling good. So we are not going to see the same thing with the Joe Biden. Yeah, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I pray she runs too. So we can solidify this nonsense that they're running around saying, oh, she only lost because, you know, she didn't have enough time. No. Run that ass again and we gonna tear that ass down. Brick by brick. So it can be never misunderstood that we did this deliberately. That we made sure you ain't getting back in the office deliberately. So yeah, I'm with you, my brother Damon. I hope to the Most High that she decides to run again, because in the words of our brother Black Are You, it would be game over. And since I'm in Houston, while we're saying game over, I'd cue the music. Flip, 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 but you don't hear me. Because we're going to flip the Democrats once again. Shalom and salute to our brother. Hey, yo, thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. For the good bishop, much love to you, my brother. Also, shalom and salute to our brother Marvin C. And I appreciate your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I truly appreciate your contribution as always. Bring that word. The church say amen. Absolutely. These folks are in a position, they're in between a rock and a hard place. So they're swinging in the dark. They're swinging in the dark. They're swinging like Trey and Boys to Men. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it. Swinging at air in the dark. They can't see what they swinging at, and they ain't hitting nothing. Absolutely. Let her run. Let her run. We will show you the vendetta. The V is for vendetta. Kamala Harris will never get another office in this land if we can help it. Literally, she will never get another office in this land if we can help it. Shalom Key Prince. FBA is not voting for an Indian/anti-black bedwench trying to put us in her lower caste. Exactly. And try to pretend to cosplay as us in order to get there. Cosplaying as us in order to get there. This is why in the last election, I had to drop that song with the video. Give me a second. Yeah, we're gonna go. We're gonna go here. Gotta remind people what she was doing in order to get elected. Let's go here real quick, family. Let's have a little musical interlude.
Dancing through the spotlight's glare, Kamala with the star to spare. Indian roots and culture spread, but now she sways with soul instead. California color shifting blend, Asian roll to the very end. Now she grooves to a different beat, votes to catch in every street. Who's that lady changing face, swaying in a brand new place? Cosplaying, playing the game beat, votes to catch in every street. Who's that lady changing face, swaying in a brand new place? Cosplaying, playing the game. Different mask but same old name. Waving in the disco lights, identity in the dark of night. Roots that stretch from distant lands, now embraced by voters' hands. From the court to center stage, every move a different page. Blending stories in the dance, a disco queen's electoral chance. Shifting colors every song, who she was and where she belongs. For she seeks rhythmic beat in the spotlight, feeling sweet.
All right, family. I appreciate you for sticking with that musical interlude. Yeah, see, I had to do it one good time. And you know, if she decides to run again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm put a lot of money behind that and just promote that right there. We're going to do a re-release of that right there. Black politics is not about nothing else but participating in a system to benefit you, not going around here trying to put funding and your votes behind a cosplayer like Kamala Harris, Kamala to be exact. Y'all want an encore, huh? I think we can do an encore. Let's do it one more time.
Dancing through the spotlight's glare, Kamala with the star to spare. Indian roots and culture spread, but now she sways with soul instead. California color shifting blend, Asian roll to the very end. Now she grooves to a different beat, votes to catch in every street. Who's that lady changing face, swaying in a brand new place? Cosplaying, playing the game beat, votes to catch in every street. Who's that lady changing face, swaying in a brand new place? Cosplaying, playing the game. Different mask but same old name. waving in the disco lights. Identity in the dark of night. Roots that stretch from distant lands, now embraced by voters' hands. From the court to center stage, every move a different page. Blending stories in the dance, a disco queen's electoral chance. Shifting colors every song, who she was and where she belongs. For she seeks rhythmic beat in the spotlight, feeling sweet.
All right, family. Like I said, family, we ain't going for the okey doke no more. We just not. We're just not. Especially when it comes to people like Kamala. And do you know that people are getting the goal? People been hearing that she's trying to, run for president again, and she was trying to run for governor at some point, and everybody's speculating, right? Everybody's speculating. But here's the thing. The one thing that isn't being speculated is the feeling that foundational Black Americans get when they see that Kamala is trying to get back into office in any capacity. They're going around trying to promote Kamala right now as we speak to see if they can get her back for the 2028. And you know what the family's doing? Saying, hell no. Let's go here, family.
Zone. I came home, my mama told me a white lady gave her this. I'm Kimberly Campbell, and I approve this message.
Family. The woman came home, and some white lady, some Nabisco, gave her mama this picture. For the people. And our sister did exactly what foundational Black Americans have been doing to the Democratic Party since the election. Let's play it again.
I came home, my mama told me a white lady gave her this. I'm Kimberly Campbell, and I approve this message.
That's it. That's all.
Zone.
See, the Democrats, they don't have nowhere to go. They don't have any other plays. All they have is the same damn playbook that they've been having for the past 60 years. And they keep on reverting back to that playbook. And we keep on doing the same thing, saying, no, no, no. You're not going to get a touchdown here. You're not getting a touchdown here. You're not getting a touchdown here. Damon said he would have saved that frame. I feel the hell out of that. They spent some good money on that frame. But the Democrats aren't used to so many of us calling them out in the way that we are. And they're starting to see it. Let's go here.
Issues that I've always seen within the African and the Black community is a lot of the FBAs, or we think that just because they look like us, they put us up, as politicians and things like that. And they turn out to be from another continent or from the Caribbean or something. And we're wondering why we can't get policies pushed for us because they don't care about us.
They're not even from here.
Exactly. Their focus is completely somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And they're going to team up with the people that they feel like has their best interest, meaning they're paying them, they're padding their pockets.
Exactly.
So,
Right.
They're going to team up with like Maxine Waters. I can't stand her.
Right. Me either.
I can't stand her.
I don't know who she is.
Yes.
Our auntie, our grandma, Maxine Waters. I think we can call her grandma now.
Supposed to like, we're supposed to like her because she's
Right.
Me, I don't go off of skin color. I
Period.
go off of energy. I go off of your spirit and your
issues that I've always.
Family, these are the conversations that we have put into the public system. The dialogue that we created is now being spread amongst everybody within the foundational Black American community. We're calling people out for not being for us, but not just not being for us, being Black while doing so. We're calling people out for claiming to be representatives, going into the Democratic Party, and then doing everything for people who are Black, just not foundationally Black American. Taking all the resources and putting them into their tiny little groups. Everybody is getting that call out, and the conversation is being had. And this is why the Democrats are having a bad feud. What are we in month 8 now? We haven't even gotten a full year in. We haven't even gotten a full year in. And these folks are crashing out left and right because of things like this. No matter what they're saying, no matter how they're wording it, no matter how they're framing it, foundational Black Americans are on code talking about the interests of foundational Black Americans. Now tell me we don't unite with each other. We have collectively, without being in the same room with each other, we have collectively decided that this is not going to be our story. We have collectively decided that we will no longer be used to further a Democratic agenda, a tether agenda, an illegal agenda. We will not be used, nor will our political capital be used in order to further other people's agendas. And for that, family, you know these people are mad. Because no matter how they come at you now, no matter how it's framed, of course you're going to have some bootlicks, but you got a majority of FBAs coming out calling that stuff out. Calling cap, calling nonsense, calling bull stuff. And it's even dwindled from the just tethers in the party to everybody in the party who's been there, who hasn't done nothing for us, who's been there for years, like a Maxine Waters, like a Django, Stephen from Django Clyburn. And this is fantastic. So while they're running around talking about redistricting, FBAs are running around talking about how our interests has not and still aren't being met by these very same people that claim to be in our representatives, the people that's supposed to be put in the office to represent our people. Let's go here, family. I want to go over here to our sister Ro from Chicago Flips Red. Much love to her, because she did a video just explaining the gist of why these people are having problems and why they're going to continue to have problems.
Democratic Party and its supporters, even the ones disguised as independents, are in complete denial about the deep-rooted issues within that party, even the wealthy ones. This is no longer about fairness or saving democracy. Y'all are upset because the Democratic Party, once upheld by a majority of black voters and racist white liberals pretending to be allies, is collapsing. You control the media, you control the narrative, but when real taxpayers like myself came forward with lived experiences and serious grievances, including the unlawful demolition of a family-owned business, the party ignored us and it still does. You want to talk about Trump being unconstitutional? I know for a fact that the entire Democratic Party, from the local level to the White House, from city councils to judicial and legislative branches, has never cared about protecting black elders, our homes, or our businesses. The truth is, the real ones who actually see what the Democratic Party has become, a clicked-up orgy of gatekeepers with degrees and ego trips, are going to keep losing. Why? Because y'all are narcissistic. It's never been about service or justice. It's about control, image, and who gets to sit at the table, not who gets fed. And I see that. I did 30 minutes on a platform and was able to explain the corruption in the city of Chicago when it comes to my personal situation with my family. That's still sitting over in federal court because the city of Chicago Democratic Party machine is mad, and the Negroes are mad. That are the puppets in the face of it, because whoever's telling them not to settle it, because at this point everybody sees what's going on and they cannot afford to lose, but they're going to lose because people are running for office. The whole purpose of Chicago Flips Red was to expose the corruption on both sides. However, the Democratic side, because at the end of the day, we have been, our ancestors, our aunts, our uncles, our grandparents, our parents, our sisters, our brothers, our friends, our godparents have been voting blue for so long, and we have no protection over there. We have no legislation. They don't have anything for us. They don't even know what to do now. They are losing the game, and instead of making it right, they're going to continue to silence me. Now, it's been a year. I've been asking to get on the same platform again, because now I done built a machine and I have a crew, and I'm getting ignored. And I'm getting ignored purposely because at the end of the day, I expose the uncomfortable truth.
Hey, and shout out to Chicago Flips Red, because yeah, they put in that work to expose that as well. Just like we're putting in that work all over these United States to expose the hypocrisy within the Democratic Party. And in the Republican Party as well. Don't get it confused. Salute to Miss Nikki. Thank you for being here, my sister. As always, it's a pleasure. Also, salute to the Big Black God. Thank you for your Cash App donation, family. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution. Exactly. FBAs ain't playing. This ain't for fun. This ain't a game. We ain't joking with this. We have distinct interest in this country, distinct needs that needs to be addressed. And everybody got to see over the past 4 years, how they can address people's needs, how they can address people's wants and interests, unless you're a foundational Black American. So yeah, we ain't having it. Welcome to the couch party. President couch, Vice President love seat.
Do better. And y'all can't do better because y'all is a whole bunch of DEI hires over there. Exactly. So while y'all get mad at a person who at the end of the day, this been messed up way before him, and because y'all cheated and cheaters never win, y'all continuing to double down on some BS, and y'all look like clowns, certified clowns. Y'all talking about gerrymandering. When the Republicans do it, it's racism. When the Democrats do it, it's strategic. Nah, y'all both playing a game, and at the end of the day, the issue is the real people, the taxpayers, the people who are living with real lived experiences, such as myself, seeing the BS. Nobody in the Republican Party or in Trump's camp unlawfully demolished my mother and my godfather's building. They also did not violate the U.S. Constitution. The city of Chicago violated the U.S. Constitution, also violated the Illinois Constitution, also violated the Blighted Property Act 1947, 1949. You can't find your attorney general. You can't find the governor Pritzker. Mayor Brandon Johnson out here stealing big money. The aldermen, we got 20 black aldermen. They don't know what they're doing. So at the end of the day, you have no choice but to come in and revamp and rechange all of this stuff, like I said on that platform a year ago. So y'all can continue to try to silence me and all of those things because y'all lost. But at the end of the day, my message is still going to get out here. And the real people that are paying attention on both sides are going to understand that I'm doing it the righteous way. I'm doing it the righteous way. I'm doing it the constitutional way, and I'm doing it the way that it should have been done a long time ago. And God is on my side.
Salute to our sister Zoe. Like I said, we've all been seeing what's been going on, and we all been having to stand on our square. And I got to give a shout out to Chicago Flips Red, because like I said, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. And foundational Black Americans should neither be Republican or Democrat. We need to recognize that we are a distinct group outside of the political system that needs to use the political system in order to benefit our groups. And so Chicago Flips Red, I may not agree with becoming Republicans, but their whole tactic was literally to flip red in order to get the Democrats out of there, who was flooding their city, their towns, their communities with these illegal migrants who were not just endangerments, but they were criminals. It's just what it was. While Brandon Johnson was taking away all the resources from the community, like the community parks, like the rec centers. So I understand they played a strategic game. And I'm with that. Like I said, if you feel like you're getting something out of it, which in their case, they would be, because Chicago is overrun with a bunch of nonsense. We've been seeing what's been going on in Chicago. If you're voting for that, cool. I understand you and I stand with you. But if you're just playing this game because you like a certain party, then you don't know what politics is. So yeah, salute to Chicago Flips Red. Also, let's go here, family. Let's get to the meat of why we're here today. Let's get here.
President Trump is now directing the Commerce Department to create a census without undocumented immigrants. Census data is used to create district maps and allocate federal funding for everything from schools to infrastructure. The nation has historically counted every person in the U.S. for the census, and the change could make a massive impact on Southern California. President Trump tried to add a U.S. citizenship question to the census during his first term, but was rebuffed by the Supreme Court. This comes as several Republican governors push to redraw congressional maps ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. President Trump is now directing.
Salute to Archie Thomas. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. So Trump is talking about redoing. He orders a new census without illegals on it. I'm not sure if he's saying he wants them to go out and do a new census or to revise the census information to where they don't count illegal immigrants. Now, he tried to do this once before, where he put that citizenship question, or he wanted to put the citizenship question on the census form, and it was struck down by the Supreme Court, which is odd because I believe the Supreme Court at the time was still conservative led. If I'm remembering correctly, I might be wrong. I have to go back and look at that. But he was shut down the last time he tried to do it, or to add that question. This time around, people are feeling like it's a little bit more of a conservative Supreme Court, so it might go through. And to be honest with you, if it goes through, that definitely benefits us tremendously as foundational Black Americans if we're counted correctly. And I have to make that a big caveat. If we are counted correctly, re-establishing the census to not include illegals would benefit Black Americans tremendously, because federal funding goes to areas that the census in itself are talking about or are accounting for. So the schools, any federal funding that the state gets, because the state gets multiple levels of federal funding in many different ways. But let's get into this article. Let's get into this article over here. Trump says undocumented immigrants will not be counted in the new U.S. Census. United States President Donald Trump has said that he directed officials to exclude undocumented immigrants, and it should say illegal invaders, from being counted in the census, a survey of the U.S. population conducted every 10 years. Trump said he directed the Commerce Department, which oversees the U.S. Census Bureau, to immediately work on new and highly accurate survey based on modern day facts and figures and the result of the 2024 elections. People who are in our country illegally will not be counted in the census, Trump wrote in a social media post. Thank you for your attention on this matter. Oh, geez. The next census is due in 2030, but it's not clear if Trump was calling for a new census, a new survey in the near future. During his first term, the U.S. president tried to add a citizenship question to the census, but his efforts were blocked by the courts. The Supreme Court ruled in 2019 that the U.S. administration failed to provide a reasoned explanation for adding the question. I'm going to be honest with you. It's very self-explanatory. Why would there need to be a reason for him to add the question? It's self-explanatory. We're trying to make sure the people that we're counting are actually citizens of the corporation known as America. Otherwise, you're counting illegals. Trump appointed 3 justices serving on the court currently. Critics say excluding undocumented immigrants, illegal invaders, from the census would violate the U.S. Constitution. This is the nonsense that these people keep on trying to convince the American people that goddamn illegal invaders have rights within the Constitution, that the Constitution speaks about the illegal invaders as if they're citizens. No, it does not. Salute to pay attention. Thank you for being here. B1 family. Much love to you. Oh, Jesus Christ. Would violate U.S. Constitution, deprive local communities of needed federal resources, and distort the data used by scientists and researchers. Y'all already doing that by counting these illegals. You're distorting all the information that the scientists and researchers use because you guys are counting a group of people that aren't even citizens to this country, while undercounting groups such as Foundational Black Americans. The 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution says the congressional... Excuse me 1 second, family. Started jumping. Okay. The 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution says the congressional representation should be based on counting the whole number of persons in each state. The census already includes undocumented immigrants in the hard to count category. I want to touch on something here. when it talks about representation, I'm thinking it means, and I'm pretty sure it was meaning during the time that it was written, the population of citizens within the United States. And that was the whole thing, that the whole reason why they did the 3/5 compromise. Remember, guys? The 3/5 compromise that gave more power to the House because of the slave representation. There were several times that they could have brought this up in history, early 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s. And that wasn't an issue. Let's go. Let's continue. States use census data to draw congressional districts. A 2023 report by the Bureau found that the 2020 census likely failed in collecting data for a significant fraction of non-citizens residing. So they're calling an undercount for non-citizens. They're saying, hey, citizens, non-citizens are being counted in the census, and not just that, they're being undercounted. Who do you think that affects? Exactly. Shalom and salute to Marvin for this. He said they want us to believe that the U.S. government worked provisions 150 years ago to include non-citizens. And that is factually incorrect. Now that we're being reclassified and identified as freedmen, FBA freedmen, what that mean? FBA freedmen crime rates start at 0%? That's a good question. That is a good question, because now that they're redoing the way that they're going to be asking about nationality on the census, where they're making people give direct countries, or making them use Jamaican American, Ghanaian American, things like that. They should be going through the crime stats, trying to disaggregate the data to see who's really committing those type of crimes. That is a great question. Let's get back over here. On Thursday, several Democrats slammed Trump's decision as unconstitutional. They slammed his decision as unconstitutional, the same way they tried to say that removing the illegals is unconstitutional, the same way that they tried to say that the 14th Amendment pertains or protects everybody. Quote, the Constitution mandates a census every 10 years that counts every single person in the country, regardless of their citizenship status. Then what's the point of having a citizenship status? What's the point of being a citizen if that doesn't matter when it comes down to the census? You're a 1-to-1 to a non-citizen? You're an apple to an orange? Because it's not apples to apples. Oh, Jesus. When Trump tried to do this in 2020, the courts flat out rejected it. The Constitution is plain and simple. Whole numbers of persons. whole number of persons does not include people who are illegal to the country. Republicans defended the decision, arguing that counting undocumented immigrants, I don't know. Let me drink some water real quick. I'm getting tongue-tied like a mug. Republicans defended the decision, arguing that counting undocumented immigrants rewards states that foster them. Exactly. And distorts congressional representation. Exactly. Exactly. In the very same way that sanctuary cities reward these illegal invaders for breaking into the country in the first damn place and incentivizes them in the first damn place. We the people means citizens, not invaders. Like the way that they use the proper word here. We the people means citizens, not invaders. Congress Mark Harris said on X, invoking the preamble of the U.S. Constitution. Counting illegal aliens in the census, disenfranchises Americans and reward blue states for breaking the law. Let's get a recount ASAP. And I 100% agree. In the very same way, like I said several times over, sanctuary cities are breaking the law due to the equal protection under the law that the Constitution guarantees. And y'all are protecting illegal invaders, giving them sanctuary housing, Medicare, food stamps, walking around change. You're giving them all of that while denying the same thing to foundational Black Americans. While if a foundational Black American break a law, even if it's the smallest law, let's say something like driving without a suspended license, the FBA will get arrested or get a ticket for driving on the suspended license. And you got illegals being able to go and purchase vehicles, whole vehicles, without a license, being able to drive semi-trucks without licenses, being able to go and get business loans without proper identification or social security. Oh yeah. That's definitely discrimination. And you're breaking the Constitution by doing so. You're breaking the law because you're not providing equal protection at that point in time. Salute to Bruce W. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. The conduct in 2023, if conducted in 2023, the next census will be conducted by Trump's successor. But participation for the survey starts well ahead of time. Absolutely. So, family, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that this should happen immediately. Absolutely immediately. Because I want to get as many of these illegals off of the census as possible. As possible. Let me just be very clear about that. You know why? As long as they do a true count. Let's go here, family. Census Bureau released estimate of undercount and overcount in the 2020 census. Can you guess who was overcounted, but was also quote unquote undercounted? Let's dip down here, family. I got something highlighted here. We're not going to read this whole thing because it's quite lengthy. And we don't have that much time today. The Black or African American alone in a combination population had a statistical significant undercount of 3.30%. This is not statistically different from the 2.06% undercount in 2010. Now, when I said, can you guess who were undercounted while being overcounted? The Hispanic or Latino population had a statistical significant undercount of a rate of 4.99%. How is that possible? You guys already admitted that you guys are going around counting illegals in the census. In order for you guys to say you undercounted 4.99%, you're still saying that you're undercounting the illegals in those states. But yet they're being overcounted because they're not even supposed to be counted in the first place. They're not. American natives or American Indians or Alaskan Native alone or a combined population living on the reservation shown statistically significant undercount of a 5.64%. This is not different from the 4.88 undercount in 2010. Non-Hispanic whites, and this is interesting, had a statistically significantly overcount rate of 1.64%. So the only two people that I'm gathering here that's had an overcount are Nabiscos. Asians were overcounted in 2020. Oh, could that be the reason why that hate crime bill was? Anyway, let's move forward. And the Hispanic, even though they saying that it's being undercounted, is being overcounted because y'all counting a bunch of illegals, not the citizens in itself. So yeah, this is why I want this to take place. I don't know if it's going to take place because, like I said, we all know why they need these populations. As a matter of fact, let's go over here.
Chicago, New York, Massachusetts. Democrats have gerrymandered the vote beyond recognition to try to maintain their advantage in the House elections. On top of that, let's not forget, Democrats rigged the 2020 census by including illegal aliens. Remember, they sued Donald Trump. They sued the administration. They fought tooth and nail to include illegal aliens in the census. 20 to 30 of House Democrat seats wouldn't exist but for illegal aliens.
Family, understand the gravity of what Stephen Miller just said. You got to understand the gravity of what Stephen Miller just said. 20 to 30 seats wouldn't exist if not for the Democrats and these illegals. That is a very, very crazy statement to make, but we know that is true because Yvette Clarke came out and said it herself.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We have a diaspora that can absorb a significant number of these migrants. And when I hear colleagues talk about, the doors of the inn being closed, no room in the inn, I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes. And those members could clearly fit here. I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Now, notice she's saying how Brooklyn, New York can absorb all of these illegals while pushing out foundational Black Americans. She said that there's more than enough space while the illegals were literally sleeping on the streets and being put into hotel rooms paid for by the state of New York and the city of New York and the taxpayers of New York. This is what she's saying, all to make sure people understand that she needs those people in her district for what? For the same thing that they're complaining about in Texas, gerrymandering purposes. I'm going to play that again.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We have a diaspora that can absorb a significant number of these migrants. And when I hear colleagues talk about, the doors of the inn being closed, no room in the inn, I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes. And those members could clearly fit here. I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
You play that. This is literally touching all kind of places right now. People are really listening and paying attention and starting to really get why FBA are out here doing what the hell we're doing. Why we're calling out each and every one of these people, especially in the Democratic Party. 20 to 30 seats, all because of the fact you're letting in these illegals. So now, family, do you see why they have no problem housing, feeding, clothing all of these people when they get into their states, giving them free health care? Even if they can't vote, them being there, their mere presence is all about them being able to redistrict, to gerrymander. That's what this is all about. So you got people sending out the usual suspects, the usual people, the buckers, to come on out and tell everybody how terrible this is. So they send out the Nabiscos first. You know how they do.
Breaking news, Donald Trump is trying to steal the election again, but this time it's not just in one state. He's trying to do it nationwide. We saw the insurrection. We saw the gerrymandering in Texas. Now Trump is trying to redo the U.S. Census so he can steal Democratic congressional seats in every state nationwide and even impact the next presidential election. Trump just ordered the Commerce Department to create a new census that excludes undocumented immigrants. The problem is, under the Constitution, you've got to count every resident of a state. That's literally what the language says. It doesn't matter if they're illegal or not illegal. Trump is trying to change that. The second problem is the census happens every 10 years. 2020 was the last one. 2030 is the next one. He's trying to do one this year so that he can rejigger the numbers. It gets even worse than that. Trump is now saying that he wants the census based on how well he did in the last election. That's not what the census is about. The census is quite literally counting how many people reside in a state. That's what the Constitution says. It's not how many people voted for Trump. Guys, this is an unconstitutional power grab. It is dangerous as hell, and it is literally setting up a system so that our elections will never be fair again. This is the thing that everyone was warning about. Remember, people were saying, is Trump going to stop us from having a...
Notice what he just said. He said they're setting it up so our elections will never be fair again. So we can only have fair elections if we have illegals. Listen to the nonsense that they bring into the atmosphere. We can't have fair elections without illegals. I'm gonna run that back.
Elections in the future. How many people reside in a state? That's what the Constitution says. It's not how many people voted for Trump. Guys, this is an unconstitutional power grab. It is dangerous as hell, and it is literally setting up a system so that our elections will never be fair again. This is.
And have you guys noticed everything that this man has done, they have called unconstitutional without any real merit?
That everyone was warning about. Remember, people were saying, is Trump going to stop us from having elections in the future? It looks like he may let us have the elections, but they're never going to be fair again. Because a great nation deserves the truth. I'm John Aravosis in Washington, very scared.
Yeah, they got the Nabiscos coming out acting all scared. Hold on.
The FBI is now going to hunt down the Texas Democrats who fled the state to stop the Republicans from rigging the election. And so the biggest questions here are on what grounds, with what authority, and what crime is the FBI investigating? If it was illegal to leave Texas, Ted Cruz would be on death row by now. The FBI can't just use its vast surveillance powers to spy on and locate random citizens. Texas issued a civil warrant, not a criminal one. The feds have no role here. And so you've got people asking, is the FBI going to violate the sovereignty of Illinois and the rights of Texas Democrats because the president told them to? But with that, you have Governor J.B. Pritzker saying that he will not allow the FBI to take the Texas Democrats, saying of the Trump administration, they're grandstanding. There literally is no federal law applicable to this situation. None.
Now, while he's right in that situation where he says that there's no federal law that's applicable to this situation, that's absolutely correct. However, he's also correct by saying that if the feds went after these folks, they would be violating the Constitution. Because every state does have, quote unquote, a form of sovereignty, one might say, where they don't have to abide or enforce federal law. And the federal law, the federal government can't just come in and take precedent or take jurisdiction within their state. It doesn't work like that. So he's correct in that situation. I don't think we are going to see any FBI agents going after these folks, but I do believe that once they go back to Texas, they're going to be reprimanded in some sort of way. Salute Karurat. Please help me with that pronunciation. Please help me with that pronunciation, family. But shout out to you. You said, sounds like another handout. Like, damn, you need votes from non-citizens to compete? Crazy. Exactly, family. Kurat. Thank you. Thank you, family. Shalom to you. Thank you for being here, family. But also, thank you for this comment, because that's exactly what it is. It's another damn handout. We can't have fair elections unless you give us our illegals. It's a handout. 100%.
With Pritzker adding, the FBI agents might show up just to, I don't know, put a show on, but that they will not be taking Texas Democrats home with them. And well, JB.
Let me just say this real quick before it gets too damn far in. J.B. Pritzker thinks that he's going to be running for president as well. See, the same way that California feels about Kamala Harris is the same way that Black folks, foundational Black Americans in Chicago and in Illinois feel about J.B. Pritzker, the billionaire who needs illegals because, you know, his family runs those hotel businesses. Yeah. All of these people are finding out, and they're going to find out. Whoever it is that y'all select, we're going to make damn sure that the couch get the nomination. Salute the FBA queen. We don't like Fred Flintstone. Absolutely. I'm not going to be able to unsee that now. I'm not going to be able to unsee that. Salute Edward Watson. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you.
Pritzker is correct there, you also have people saying, this is an administration that is in total violation of the Constitution at all times. And speaking of that, you have Trump saying he's ordered a new census that only counts citizens. Now there, it's unclear if Trump has the authority to do a new census, and there's never been a mid-decade full census because the Constitution only has it happening every 10 years. So whether this census happens or not, he can't change how many seats states have in Congress, right? And that is the 14th Amendment says in plain English that House seats are apportioned by the whole number of persons in each state. So if he does this,
the Constitution also refers to we the people. Salute to the big black God. Thank you for your Cash App donation, family. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution. It starts out directly with who? We the people. Does that mean all the people on the landmass? No, because we do know that some people were not included within the citizenship of the United States. So when it says we the people who? We the people of the United States. If you are not a citizen of the United States, then you can't be we the people. Salute to Gigi. Thank you for being here, family. How the hell is it you're a part of the whole number of persons, but you're not a part of we the people? Let's make this make sense. And as our brother said earlier in the live, no, these people 150 years ago wasn't putting in these dang steps to make sure everything would be looked out for a bunch of illegals who come to the country. And that's why the political nuance of these situations are so important. You got to look at what was going on during the time that this was passed. During the time in which it was passed, to see where their mindset was, what their thinkings was. And like we already discussed, Trump did already sign that executive order stating that the 14th Amendment does not include anybody who just comes to America and plant their flag on the soil. You got to have at least one American parent in order to become an American citizen under Trump's executive order, excuse me. The very same thing that you need to be a foundational Black American. At least one foundational Black American parent. So what is the problem? These people don't understand that the executive order that he signed, that literally the courts declined to even speak on. They just said, hey, you guys can't interrupt the president's executive orders as lower tier government, which means that his executive order that he signed still stands, which means he can order the census to not include illegals because they don't fall under the 14th Amendment under his executive order. And until the courts make a decision, oh, his executive order is still standing. So while these people is running around here saying this is illegal, this is unconstitutional, no, according to the courts, it's not unconstitutional. Because if it was, they would have shut down his executive order. And not the folks who are underlings trying to shut down the executive order.
census that doesn't count non-citizens, it would be irrelevant. And that's not like my opinion. This has gone to court so many times, including in Trump's first term. And every time the court has ruled that the Constitution really does say persons, not citizens. But hey, for now.
So that's the Democratic monologues that you're going to be hearing for the next few days or so, family. Just want y'all to know, when y'all hear it, that we already know that is a bunch of cow dung. Salute, I'm just going to say it. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. The problem is that they want to colonize FBA history and policies that were intended for FBA freedmen exploitation. Exactly. Everything about the Democratic Party is literally this: using our history, using our political capital to try to put up or uplift a whole different community, a whole different group, a whole different agenda that doesn't benefit us, to say the least. Let's go here, family, because now, since we're not really tripping out on the whole gerrymandering situation, we're sitting here calling these people out. Salute Daphne Jackson. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you, my FBA sister. Since they know that we're not really moving, they're not moving us off the couch with this nonsense about the Democrats in Texas fleeing and fleeing from persecution and all this other nonsense. This picture does not move us whatsoever. The picture does not move us. And so now they're out here talking about Trump calling people the inner city. Now that's racist when he's talking about inner city people, mid-city people. Oh, you think I'm joking? Oh, no. Let's go here, family.
Check this video out.
That are very difficult to do and very complex, but it works really well. We're sending them back, and then they're schooling, they're learning, they're coming in legally. We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody, these people that you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they...
Once again, leave it up to the Trump administration to continuously leave dog whistles for the red meat of their base that is racist, sexist, misogynistic, and bigoted. This administration continues to show us time and time again what they really think about people of color, Black and brown individuals, and women. What does he mean by inner city? What does he mean that these people naturally have the ability to work in fields and in the agricultural industry? Nothing.
When he says inner city people, he's saying people who don't live in rural areas. Are Black people the only people who live inner city? No. Are white people the only people who live in rural areas? Hell no. So why is she trying to make this a thing? When he said these people naturally come here, he's talking about the illegals. And now the ones that he's letting in on visas to work the farms. He said they naturally come here and want to go farm. Where is the racism? Where's the bigotry in that? Now, I'm not going to sit here and cake for Trump whatsoever when he's being racist. You call out racism, but this is the exact same thing that these people were doing when he said black jobs. Everybody just pretended to not know what black jobs mean all of a sudden. All of a sudden, him saying black jobs is racist. And then you send out this woman, this we come in peace woman, to sit here and to toss that out as if it's supposed to hurt us in some sort of way. Salute Christopher Dixon. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you and be one. Shalom.
They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they...
Once again, leave it up to the Trump administration to continuously leave dog whistles for the red meat of their base that is racist, sexist, misogynistic, and bigoted. This administration continues to show us time and time again what they really think about people of color, Black and brown individuals, and women. What does he mean by inner city? What does he mean that these people naturally...
So it's not just racist. It said Black and brown, people of color, and women. All because he said inner city people aren't doing this work.
Agricultural industry.
All because he said inner city people aren't doing this work. Well, that's either true or it's false. If you're inner city, 9 times out of the 10, you're not going to be in the rural area to do the work or to get that job. You're going to work inner city. So this is about this man not just being racist, but being a bigot, being a misogynist, according to this woman.
To continuously leave dog whistles for the red meat of their base that is racist, sexist, misogynistic, and bigoted. This administration continues to show us time and time again what they really think about people of color, Black and brown individuals, and women. What does he mean by inner city? What does he mean that these people naturally have the ability to work in fields and in the agricultural industry? Nothing new here, just same Trump administration tactics of dog whistles and symbolic racism. Once again, the Trump administration shows us time and time again. And honestly, I think it's quite intellectually insulting for them to assume that these tactics will just go over our heads.
I think it's intellectually insulting that you guys quite literally come to us with this nonsense. You're talking to us as if we're too stupid to see what you're doing. You're talking to us as if it went over our heads. And the fact of the matter is it don't. And it didn't. But this is the new talking point. They're trying to make it seem like when he was talking about these people have natural abilities to work on the farms and stuff like that, that he was talking about Black Americans when he was talking about the people who he's bringing in to work on the farms. Because inner city people aren't working in these rural areas, aren't working on these farms. Now, should they be? Yes. And if you would go after these farmers who are hiring these illegals, then you would see a lot more people getting these jobs, because then they'll have a fair wage, But let's go here, because like I said, this is the new talking point. They want to make it seem like that was racist. She says deportation was always intended to get Black people back in the fields. This is literally the links, the depths that these people are going to try to convince us.
So Donald Trump, not in these exact words, but basically admitted this week that a lot of the things that he's been doing, a lot of the policies, a lot of the executive orders that he's been signing off on was all made with the intention of getting Black people back into the field. It was made with the intention of getting Black people back into the field. All right, so on Tuesday, Donald.
Now, family, you heard it out of your own mouth what Trump said. At what point can anything that he said be misconstrued with what she said? Oh, yeah. Another good point. I forgot all about that. Biden was giving out crack pipes and clean needles. Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Trump made an appearance, right, on CNBC's Squawk Box. And on that platform, he actually made a lot of commentary in regards to the situation with the deportations, migrant workers, the state of America's agriculture, and he made comments on inner city people not doing farm work. I want you to always remember that when they mention inner city, that means Black. In Donald Trump's exact words, people that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They've tried. We've tried. Everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. They don't get a bad back.
Now, notice when he said these people, the people that he's referring to is the people that he's trying to let in on visas. So notice that they're being deliberately intellectually dishonest. Like I said, I don't even know why you got to be deliberately dishonest like this when there are so many things about Trump that you don't have to lie about. So many things that he's doing that you do not have to lie about. If you want to make them look bad, why select something like this and then try to make it or insinuate that the whole plot was to get Black people back in the fields. That's the same thing that the Democrats was running around saying, that if you vote for Trump, you're going to get put back into slavery. That didn't work. So now they got their shills, their paid operatives, to come out and make it look as if, or sound as if, something that had nothing to do with us refers to us going back to the damn fields. Do you see the Democrats struggling in the water? Right now, oh man, right now, FBA's, we're the lifeguards sitting pretty on the beach, and in the far back end of the waters, in the waves, we see the Democratic Party struggling, trying to save itself, about to drown, hoping to God we're going to jump off of our nice little chair and swim out there and pull them to safety. No, 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 no. Especially when y'all running around saying the same dumb nonsense that you were running around saying during the election. You're doubling down, Dems. And we already told you that double down, it's only going to leave you in the world of hurt. It's only going to leave you in a world of hurt. Because as Black R you said, he said it, and I'm going to agree with it. We chilling on this side. But let's let the operatives speak.
Because if they get a bad back, they die. He also went on to say that they are very, very, very special people and they cannot be easily replaced. Remember what I said, anytime that they mention the words inner city people, inner city communities, inner city neighborhoods, that's black. That's code for black, be black, okay? Black people. And it is because of that exact commentary.
When he said these people can not really be replaced, he was talking about the workers in the farms. And he was speaking about these people being special because they have the experience that the farmers need. Look, I'm not ever going to cape for Trump, but I'm not going to sit here and just allow you to spread a bunch of stupidity because you think it fits your Democratic narrative. And this is also one of the women who was running around here saying that, she's staying with FBAs. She was telling all the Africans and Caribbeans to respect and leave us alone because we have the right to decide who we are and decide our identity and all this other stuff. This is the same person who's now turning around trying to scare and fearmonger foundational Black Americans. So when I was calling this person out and I was saying, don't just believe what she's saying because it sounds good, this is what I was talking about. You can't be for FBA and then turn around and try to fearmonger FBA in order to help your political party. We're sitting pretty on this chair. We ain't jumping out to go into the ocean to save you.
That it reconfirms for me, okay? Not confirms, but reconfirms, meaning that I already knew. But it reconfirms that the plan from the very beginning with these executive orders, right, was to further destabilize Black communities, further destabilize poor communities, but Black mainly, so that you could put pressure on these communities so that you could get them to go back into the field, right? And then once you get them back in the field, bingo, you've made America great again, modernize slavery. But Black people said, fuck you and this little game that you want to play. Since we are the most valuable player on the scoreboard, we will remove ourselves and let's see if this game is still going to continue. And that's in fact what we're seeing right now.
No. We're not going to allow you to come here and muddy the water. That is not what you're seeing, and that is not what's taking place. What is taking place is foundational Black Americans is stepping away from the system as a whole until either the Republicans or the Democratic Party take a knee to our demands. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Notice they try to switch up the narratives all over again. Salute DSA 1. Thank you for being here, family. Not none of us. And here's the thing. She talks about he's trying to disenfranchise us by doing what? Removing illegals from the census? Wouldn't that benefit us more? Removing illegals from the country? We ain't the only people that need jobs, you know. But in her head, in the Democratic mind, all this was a ruse in order to put black people back in the fields. This is how they play with your intelligence, family. This is them playing with your intelligence.
Donald Trump thought that by forcing all of these other people out, taking away our Medicaid, doing all of these things to further destabilize.
Who is our Medicaid? I don't have Medicaid to begin with. The Medicaid that was taken, it came from illegals. But I don't expect you to bring that up because you are an immigrant, aren't you? That's right. So nothing you say right here has any merit to it because you have interest in convincing people that you're going to be going back to the fields. Salute Willie Gross. Thank you for being here. Get the Asians, Indian, Arabs out of here too. Boycott their businesses as well. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%.
Our community, that we would conform, that we would just do what he wants us to do, what the whites of this world, what white supremacy wants us to do. But black people decided to pull a
This is how you know that she's a tether and she don't understand how America works, because nobody can force black Americans to do nothing, and they know it. That's why they try to trick us into doing things similar to what you're trying to do. You know, trick us into being all rowdy against the Republican Party and Donald Trump. You know, trick us into believing that they're trying to send us back to the fields. They do that. You do that because y'all know y'all can't force us to do nothing.
Uno reverse, and they did nothing, which is something that they're not used to black people doing. They're used to black people.
Now, we pulled a Uno reverse on both parties, and that's what you're negating to actually speak on. You're negating to say neither party is benefiting us as black Americans, and so black Americans stepped away from the board. No, you're trying to make it seem like it's because of Trump. As if we didn't just cause the Democratic Party to crash out in 2024. And has been sitting back with our feet high, sitting pretty every damn since with a bag of popcorn, watching the shit show go by. No matter what happened. Deportations, illegals in the street. Where's black Americans? The Palestinians. Where's black Americans? The Nabiscos in the street begging, where are black Americans? And then they realize, oh, well, we're not convincing them to come out, so we got to change the narrative. Well, black Americans, you sit this out. You've worked so hard to save the country. It's our turn now. Each and every one of these people have been trying to play a manipulation game with foundational black Americans, and it's just not working. And each person who tries it is being called out. whether Democrat or Republican. We've been calling out each and every one of your tactics and still sitting back with our feet kicked up high.
Having the spirit of rebellion, having the spirit of revolution. But instead, Black people.
You don't have that spirit. You don't have the spirit of rebellion or revolution because you're not a foundational Black American. You fled over here. Your family fled over here in order to benefit off of the spirit of revolution, off of the spirit of rebellion. You got your nerve.
Decided that, you know what, I'm going to preserve my energy for me and my people, but I'm also going to remove myself from this game entirely. And now everything is starting to crumble. The way that the America agriculture is taking a huge hit right now because of Donald Trump and his deportations.
Because of Donald Trump and his deportations, or because of foundational Black Americans and our expectations? Is it really crumbling because of Donald Trump and his deportations, or is it because of FBAs and our expectations? I would say that it's the latter.
I don't think that you understand how much America survives off of the labor of undocumented workers. And when I say
family, what did I say? All this is about convincing you that undocumented workers benefits you when it doesn't. Right back to the undocumented workers bring so much to the American landscape.
Y'all, I mean, all the other races, Black people knew, because Black people were telling you, they told you, don't do this. Don't.
First and foremost, do not say Black people knew, Black people told you, don't do this. No, we was the ones saying we wanted deportations. We were the ones saying we wanted these people out of our communities. Salute Leon Atkins. Thank you for being here, family. Notice how they're trying to revise history. Chicago flipped red because we didn't want them in our neighborhoods. What the hell is this woman talking about? And this is why we don't let Tether speak for us. You make sure to put on where you from. You are Jamaican American, excuse me. You're a Dominican American. You're a Nigerian American. You are not a foundational Black American. You are not an African American, because that term has been put to rest. This is exactly why. The Tether class was screaming, oh, y'all don't want to do that. Y'all don't want it because the Americans, they're going to put you back in slavery. That was the Tether class saying that nonsense. And they got it from the Democrats.
Do this because we're not going back in the field. Don't do this, but y'all didn't listen. And just to put into retrospect of how important undocumented migrant workers are to the agriculture economy.
And family, did she not just say the same thing Jasmine Crockett said on the damn show where she said Black people ain't, who's going to be in the fields? Black people ain't getting back in their child. The exact same talking points as the white supremacists in the time where they was debating releasing us from slavery. Who's going to pick the cotton? Who's going to pick the fruit? These people are literally using white supremacist talking points. And there were several Black Americans, foundational Black Americans who said, if you pay me right, I will get out in those fields. As a matter of fact, I've seen several foundational Black Americans get ranch hand jobs. There were several videos coming out.
Here in America, the U.S. Department of Agriculture reports that roughly 42% of crop workers are undocumented, with nearly 70% being foreign-born. This labor is essential in states like California and Texas.
Family. Her bringing up these numbers doesn't change the fact that it's illegal. If anything, you are bringing up a valid point to why the government should be cracking down on everybody who is hiring these illegals. So we need illegals to make our economy run. We need illegals in order to have fair elections. We need illegals. We need illegals. We need illegals. Do you hear the talking points of the Democratic Party? And they expect us to come out and actually vote for them and put them back into office in 2026. Do you hear the delusion?
Where up to 80% of farm workers lack legal status. Donald Trump signed off on a lot of these executive.
And why is it that 80% of farm workers lack legal status? Because they're paid under the table, because they're paid less than a worker who has legal status. And you guys keep trying to tiptoe over that fact and try to negate mentioning that it does not benefit foundational Black Americans. It hurts us when it comes to economics. Every goddamn economic goddamn discussion, study, an article say the same damn thing. Illegals negatively affect foundational Black Americans specifically.
Orders back in January. It is now August, and in between that time, he has done a parade of chaotic shit, trying to put pressure on the Black community, but the Black community has refused to fold. They have not folded.
What the hell has he done to put pressure on the Black community? What the hell did he do? Because nothing that he's done thus far has affected the Black community as a whole thus far. Deportations, reclassifying the 14th Amendment, none of that affected us. Trying to remove illegals from the census, none of that affects us. So tell me, how is he pushing us? No, see, the people you're speaking about is the tether class. He's pushing the tether class by doing all these things.
And it's not just the Black community, but the legal Hispanic community here, the legal Latinos here, the Browns, and every other race. That
the legal Latinos voted for him. The legal Latinos, they voted for Trump. I ought to vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. What the hell is this woman talking about? And he told them what he was going to be doing. Deportations, deportations, deportations. And they got on that stage and started singing, I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. What the hell is this woman talking about? Like I said, you got to have a very short memory in order for these people to succeed. But as our elder said, hold on, I'm going to play this here.
But the axe forgets, the tree remembers. You can't have a short memory and be black. You open yourself up for attack. You got to have a long memory because you're singing a long song. Y'all feel me? Yeah, you do.
And these people don't know the song. And so they get on these apps, they spew all this nonsense as if we don't know the song. Baby, we've been singing the song before your parents got here and dropped you off here to anchor your ass to us. We've been singing the song. We wrote the song. We curated the song to make sure that it had all the right notes. That was us. And these people, like I said, they just hope to God that your memory is so damn short. They hope all the weed smoke got to your brain. They hope all the alcohol got to your brain. They hoping all the chemicals in the air has gotten to your brain. All the lead in the water gotten to your brain. All the lead in the paint got to your brain. They're hoping all these things got to your brain so you can have a very short memory and they can send out tethers like this in order to try to convince you that you need to be fighting against your interest for all these people who is on the stage singing against their interest. I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. Girl, please.
Sees what this administration has been trying to do from the very beginning. They have not folded. And because of that, everything that he has signed off on in January is starting to bite him in the ass in August. And to all of you people out there that had so much to say in regards to the Black community and the 92% and them actually deciding to stand down and not participate, to not get involved, to protect their peace, all of the critiques that you had on their decision, let this be your example. Let this be your primary example as to why you should stay the fuck out of Black people business.
Nigga, please.
Did you take a stupid pill with your breakfast this morning, Admiral?
She definitely took a stupid pill with her breakfast this morning. You notice how she tried to make it seem like the 92% is sitting back and Wasn't it the 92% running around talking about deportations affects Black Americans? Wasn't the 92% running around here talking about this is our fight? Oh man, I gotta play it again.
But the axe forgets, the tree remembers. You can't have a short memory and be black. You open yourself up for attack. You got to have a long memory because you're singing a long song. Y'all feel me? Yeah, you do.
Stay the fuck out of Black people business. You had so much to say in regards to our decision and wanting to stand the fuck back and deciding to remove ourselves from this entire game altogether, right? Now,
R, who the hell is R? Who the hell is R? Y'all didn't want to sit this out. Y'all only started sitting it out because foundational Black Americans wasn't being moved by none of your rhetoric. Nothing y'all was doing was working. So now y'all have to play this game of, what is it called? They're trying to play this game as if, oh, well, we've been doing this the whole time. Basically, it's a mind trick. It's a head game. You guys wasn't at all trying to sit anything out. It's been you guys, every time something happens, that you guys are out here screaming from the rooftops like Chicken Little, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. And it's been foundational Black Americans sitting back with our lemonades and our popcorn saying, watch it fall. Or in the words of our good brother, Beatzilla, while y'all was running around screaming, Babylon is falling, Babylon is falling, we were sitting there saying, let it fall. and let us rise. Can you dig it?
You see that black people actually knew what the fuck they were doing. They knew what the fuck they were doing. They told you.
Yeah, foundational black Americans knew what we were doing. While all you tethers was running around here saying they're going to put you back in chains like Joe Biden. The very same way you started off trying to make it seem like the whole goal was to put us back into the fields. Now y'all trying to manipulate us as if we wasn't the ones sitting this out the whole time. And y'all trying to manipulate others as if you were the lead of people sitting things out. No, 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 no.
We're going to need these people because they weren't doing it anymore. They told you they wasn't going to do it anymore. You still got rid of them people. You still got rid of the migrants. You still did and went through with the mass deportations, and now you guys want food.
And I applaud the good brothers and sisters over there at the ICE agency that are getting these people out of the paint. Yeah. We were some of the people who wanted those people gone. Tether. And y'all was the ones running around here screaming the sky is falling. Babylon is falling. Let me let this broad continue because we're finished here. Let me just.
But you thought that the black people was going to get into the field. No, they wasn't going to do it. They wasn't going to do it. They wasn't going to do it. And now you see why they decided from the very beginning, oh, I see how this is going to play out. Exit stage left.
Family, when I say the Democrats have nothing, they have nothing. They're sending out a bunch of tethers to do a bunch of plebiscite babbling. You got a bunch of tethers to run around here and try to shame us and wag the finger at us when we didn't want to get involved in their issue. You had all these folks trying to get us involved in everybody else's business, including all these Democrats. They have nothing. So I hope the courts say, yeah, we're going to do the new census. And we're going to remove the illegals from the census because that's not what the Constitution meant when it spoke about whole persons being counted. Especially when the Constitution starts off, the very beginning of the Constitution starts off with the caveat to everything. We, the people. Not we, the illegals. We, the lawbreakers. Salute Leonard De Yuda. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. Shalom. So I'm 100% on board with this revising of the census to make sure that illegals can't be counted or won't be counted. But I'm also 100% in support of you guys actually counting the black community in the way it's supposed to be counted. Because I guarantee if you do, that whole 13% narrative, which I believe is more like 19% at this point in time, maybe even 20%, I guarantee you that number will shoot the hell up. If we've been undercounted by, let's say, 2 to 3 million every time the census has come around, I would say that there's more than 50 million foundational black Americans here. I used to start off with 45 million, but from now on, I'm starting straight at 50 plus million foundational black Americans here on this soil. And I want to get everybody out of the paint so we can get what we need for our communities. Because if y'all inflating the numbers with Latinos, illegals, guess what community gets that funding? Latinos, illegals. So when it comes to my community, I don't know about these coons. I don't know about these tethers. All I know is about my foundational Black American family. And I know we don't want it. We don't want the illegals getting what's supposed to be given to us or any of our communities, especially by inflating their numbers. That's what gave Joe Biden the goddamn mitigated gall to say, you guys are going to have to start working with Hispanics who make up a larger number than you. Yeah, and a large number of those people that you said make up a larger number is because they are not legally here. So the numbers are being inflated. How many Hispanics are here legally? How many Latinos are here legally? This is their whole game plan. To inflate the numbers and keep their seats. To inflate the numbers and still get funding in certain areas that shouldn't be getting the funding. Salute Shabazz, American Freedman. Thank you for being here, family. Absolutely. Illegals or any other immigrants. We're supposed to be taken care of first because we have a debt that's owed to us in this country. Everything that is being gifted to these people out of nowhere when they touch down on this land comes from something we fought for. So I want to see Democrats lose seats. I want to see Democrats lose every time they go up against the Republicans until they realize that their one true base needs their funding, needs our policy. And if you're not going to give me funding, you're not going to give me policy, you're not going to get my vote, and you're not going to get your seat, and you're not going to get back in office, and you're not going to get any positions of power. And let me play this one more time.
Seen within the African and the Black community is a lot of the FBAs, or we think that just because they look like us, they put us up, as politicians and things like that, and they turn out to be from another continent or from the Caribbean or something, and we're wondering why we can't get policies pushed for us because they don't care about us.
They're not even from here.
Exactly, their focus is completely somewhere else.
So, and they're gonna team up with the people that they feel like has their best interest, meaning they're paying them, they're padding their pockets. Exactly. So they're gonna team up with like Maxine Waters. I can't stand her.
Right, me either.
I can't stand her.
I don't know who she is.
Yes, our auntie, our grandma, Maxine Waters. I think we can call her grandma now.
Close the light.
Family, what we're talking about and what our FBA family was just talking about is people such as this. But if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please go to change.org. Excuse me. Click the link, go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. And with that being said, family, I'm not concerned really about the Democrats fleeing Texas. I'm not concerned about them talking about the gerrymandering situation that's been going on forever. I'm not concerned about Trump talking about removing the illegals from the census, and nor will I be manipulated into being concerned about any of those things. If it's not about foundational Black Americans, it's about nothing to me. And you can send out all the plebiscite babbling tethers you want. They'll get called out. You can send out all of the so-called representatives to try to make it seem like they're doing such a good thing. They're doing the Lord's work. And it's going to get called out. Until you do right by us, every single thing that you do will fail. Since y'all love color purple so much. With that being said, family and friends, I'd like to thank everybody for being here. I'd like to thank everybody who donated, whether by Cash App, Super Chat, Super Sticker, appreciations to each and every one of you. Shout out to all my members. Shout out to all my mods. Thank each and every one of you. Family, don't let these people play in your face. Because like I said, if they implement what Trump is talking about and they actually count Black Americans, that might benefit us a lot more than anything Joe Biden has ever thought about doing, or anything that, you know, the Democrats lie and say that he's ever done. But with that being said, family, y'all have a beautiful rest of your Friday. If you're going over to our brother Black Alphas, I will see you over there. And the doors of the church are now closed. Peace, family.
My grandfather built this country, man. He fought wars for it. And most places he went wouldn't let him sit down and get a cup of coffee. I can't even catch a cab in New York. You know, it doesn't matter how many degrees I get. All you people see is color. Your grandfather was an immigrant. You're American. My grandfather was born here, Duke. And you people still look at me as just another nigga.
I know that the government, whatever, can't stand us Black people. He doing everything in the world to make Black man be extinct. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Us Black people going to survive. Yeah. So fuck everybody. I'm out.